All right, welcome back everybody to the Lazer Grand Arena, where have a semifinals matchup coming up for you. A matchup I've been very excited for. Two super well-rounded players with varying strengths at the high end of their skill sets. We have Aknz, the Australian prodigal demon, coming in at seed second, up against FlyingTuna, very well-known player, of course. And I'm commentating this Vordy alongside Mavs. How you doing, man?
Yo, what's going on, Vordy? Yeah, doing pretty good. I mean, this is a high matchup. I think, after everyone seeing the match between Zudi and Aknz yesterday, I'm sure people are excited to see him in action here again today. Very close matchup between those two players. Unfortunately, Tuna on the back end of an FF there, so just moving on into this match, not being able to really see his performance on this pool so far, but we're going to see it today, as of course, if you are unfamiliar with the way the Lazer Grand Arena format is working and how the tournament is proceeding in terms of the stages, we are doing the whole tourney in just 2 weekends. So this is the second weekend, meaning we have already done the quarterfinals round, and we are currently in the midst of the semi-finals, where we're going to be getting a pretty bag of matchup here between Tuna, aknzx, or Aknz. So yeah, I'm excited to get into this one. I'm not really sure who you would say is favorite on paper. I think maybe if you're going to go off terms in terms of qualifiers and performances in the tournament so far, I think you could maybe slightly give the edge to Aknz, but it's really close, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, it's tough, especially because, as you mentioned, FlyingTuna had an FF in his first matchup of this round of this map pool, so FlyingTuna has that advantage. Aknz doesn't know FlyingTuna's scores so far, but the opposite way is true, which means he has some quality info. And obviously in the matchup, Aknz up against Zudinator, the real deciding factor of that matchup that led to the win was that DT3. Just having a massive speed advantage against your opponent in a format where it's essentially a score tally is super important, right? If you win an A map by like 100k score, it's not a big deal. If you win a speed map by 500k score, that's super decisive. FlyingTuna, though, is pretty solid at tapping. It's by no means his premier skill set. It's not his key strength that he's going to want to pick into. You see him banning that double time 2, very fair ban, but I think on that double time 3, he's going to have a pretty good time.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think Tuna is one of those players over the past couple years or year or so that has definitely improved his speed quite considerably. Used to be one of those things in a tournament, especially in a 1v1 scene, where I think it would definitely be a weakness to pick into, especially a player like Aknz, who is just a premier speed player, just one of the best in tourney. But nowadays, Tuna, I think, especially at this stage as well, I don't think this pool is like hard enough to where he's not gonna be able to play them. Is he gonna play them as comfortably as Aknz will? Probably not, but I do think he's going to get a good score here. I don't think we're going to see a repeat of possibly the Aknz-Zudi situation, where Zudi unfortunately just goes down several hundreds of thousands of points on something like the DT3. So well, let's see how that one pans out. But I am interested in the banning decision here from Aknz, actually opting to ban no mod 1, is it?
Yep, no mod
and
1
and leaves no mod 5 open, which is interesting because no mod 5 was his insta ban yesterday against Zudi, and that makes sense. That Mad Piano Party, if you haven't seen the map, if you haven't played the map, that map is impossible. That map is so hard at low A. It's just a low AR onslaught and just so hard to play that I'm very surprised to see Aknz leave that open. But that kind of just goes to show the versatility this guy has. I'm interested to see how that one pans out.
Yeah, both of these players are super well-rounded. In the same way that aknzx, obviously Aknz, mostly wants to play tapping, he's fine on the reading. He's a pretty solid reading player in the same way FlyingTuna wants to play the reading. You know, first picks the no mod 5, second pick Hidden 2, so both of the heavy reading maps going to Tuna. And aknzx, unsurprisingly, going for double time 3. Now that was always going to be his go-to, but we'll see if FlyingTuna can perform well on it as well. Double time 1 is an interesting pick. It's obviously favored to Aknz because I think he'll have a much better time getting good AK on it, but because it's primarily a DTA map, that's something FlyingTuna is pretty good at. The last 2 picks between these players are the ones that interest me the most, right? You have Aknz picking the Hard Rock 1, which is, I mean, that's something I think Tuna top scored. Oh, actually, no, he banned it. I was gonna say, yeah, I think he banned it. So yeah, fair ban, banning out something FlyingTuna top scored in qualies, and then Tuna, I believe, banning out Nomad 2, so another tapping heavy map.
Yo, Grin is still being floated here. Grin, that is a classic map from KTG stuff. Definitely one I played a lot back in the day just with Hidden. Like, excited to see if that one maybe slips in here. Is that going to be our possible decider?
I think it is.
Oh, it's gonna be that or No Mod 3 here, I think. Depending on Akin's decision of a ban, and yes, Grin is gonna be our decider. That's an exciting one to see. Lots of polyrhythmic patterning and weird, I guess, aim control in that type of map at a very low BPM. So interested to see that one as a decider. I think both players going to do fairly well on it. Probably give the edge to Tuna, I think, on something like that. Slightly, but regardless. Interested to see that one get in there. That's pretty good. The lineup of maps so far looks like we're going to have a bunch of low AR, bunch of speed to kick things off as you would expect. And here we go, getting straight into Mad Piano Party. And as I said, you're going to see very quickly that this map is impossible, as I put it. I mean, this map is really, really tough.
And as you mentioned, Akins first banned this up against the matchup against Zudinator, so we'll see if he's more practiced this time around, having a bit of time between the matches. Does find an early drop, and obviously accuracy on Lazer scoring is so valuable. FlyingTuna does miss as well, so both of them finding some struggles. Yeah,
and you can see early on, some of these streams already, they might look playable, but I promise you those overlaps are no joke. Akin's finding some struggles early on, as you can see, getting a bunch of 100s, a bunch of 50s on some of these overlaps. You miss-aim one of these ever so slightly, and you could just fall off beat, fall off rhythm. And there goes Tuna as well. Akin's managing to get a combo going, but look at the accuracy difference, and with this Lazer scoring, that is going to matter so much, like you said. 5% almost in the favor of Tuna is going to net him about a 50k score lead so far, but about half of the map remaining still.
It's really interesting seeing the comparisons between high AC, low combo scores versus the opposite on Lazer. But with that break, okay, aknzx matching, so it's going to go back to Tuna favor. Remember, this is Tuna's first pick, and you want to build up as big of a score lead as possible, and right now, Akin's not too far behind. He's holding up well for a map that seemingly was a
oh my god.
Oh, these are brutal.
These patterns are they're just so disgusting to watch get played. This play is constantly breaking back and forth, but this on SV2, like, these players would have considerably lower scores. It's yeah.
I mean, for sure.
This is so hard to play, man. You just see some of these angles on this approach rate. They really hold no punches. Unable to get through anything. Tuna actually falling to the wayside here.
Look at this combo.
Akin's going off on this ending. Finally breaks. Actually comes out on top. The first pick from FlyingTuna. Akins with a 560,000 score makes a comeback in the final moments of the map. Very impressive stuff. Not who you expect, like you said. Like, just he's not a low AR player, but man, he could just play it. He could just play it. He could just play it better than some reading players for some reason. It's crazy.
I mean, he just really held up well in the ending. The starting half of the map, Tuna held like a 3% AC lead. By the end, it dropped to like a 0.5% AC lead, and obviously Akin's just comboing more. But this is like a speedrun match. We're 9 minutes into this match. Every pick has been done. All the bans have been done. We're in the second map. These players are getting through it quickly. But double time 3, Akins' first pick, he's speed map.
Yeah, DT3. We saw this one yesterday. Just an unrelenting onslaught of speed bursts. Couple longer streams, couple slightly longer stream patterns in here as well. Yeah, as you can see there, about 11, 13 note or so. Not sure, but gonna definitely be a test of the stamina as well as just the raw speed and a little bit of reading. But you can see something like this for Akins, it's really gonna be no problem. 99%. Tuna, he's gonna be able to play this. Like I said, he's improved his speed quite substantially over recent times, but you can definitely see the accuracy difference here. The comfort always going to be in the favor of a player like Akins on something like this, but Tuna holding up well so far.
As long as Tuna can keep that combo together, did find a break early on, but seemed to recover pretty well. Obviously not as you know, of a metronome, and as
Ooh,
Akins, but he
but
does
wait.
find a break, and there it is. That's where he can find the advantage. Akins will still likely hold the Ak lead throughout this map, but if Tuna can keep that combo up, he might be able to recover from that early deficit on the Nomad 5.
Yeah, it's looking good for Tuna now. 20k difference, and he is building this back. The accuracy keeping things in Akins' favor very slightly, staving Tuna off, but Tuna, he is going to take this if he continues to hold this combo. The combo advantage he's managed to accrue here is going to, I guess, outperform the accuracy lead that Akins has in terms of the score. And here it goes. He will take the flicker. 10k in the lead now. Continues to hold. Tuna finally drops in the final sections of the map here. Now Akins going to take things back very convincingly. But Tuna, I mean, like we said, this is a score differential. This is not map wins. So this is going to be a really big pickup for Tuna early on to not even lose this by more than 50k.
A much needed performance from Tuna there, especially after the Nomad 5. Obviously still does lose the head-to-head, but by no huge margin, only a 50k loss. We'll go into Akins' next pick, the double time 1, but yeah, still holding it together, very, very close after the first 2 maps, and that's like the difference, right? I think Akins basically performing the same as he did up against Zudinator, but instead of a 500k differential, it's a 50k differential.
Yeah, there's one extra 0 off there, the difference. But yeah, I mean, that ended up spelling defeat for Zudi, so Tuna still in this one for sure. If he can do some work in the latter half of these map picks, it is going to do dividends for him. But we got straight into the DT1, Vorty. This one yesterday was also a banger. Very close one in the Akins Zudi matchup too. And interested to see how this one pans out. I mean, you always expect a player like Akins, one of the most comfortable, one of the most prominent DT1 players in the tournament scene, I would say right now. But Tuna, always capable on maps like this, always has been for many, many years. And here he is again to hopefully perform in this DT1 and try and accrue a lead, but it's 70k he's going to have to make up so far in this match, and Akins going to be hoping to convert this one for himself, as doesn't want to lose this lead early on in his first 2 picks.
Yeah, for sure. It's actually really interesting double time 1 in Lazer, and that's because of obviously a lot of players are super comfortable alting these kinds of maps, having no problems, but generally speaking, the Ak tends to drop by at least a bit when you're alting these kinds of maps, right? Akins obviously comfortable enough to single tap, and that should give him an Ak advantage. Right now it's a 1% difference, and that's just like a nice little lead. In Score v2, it wouldn't really matter. It would almost entirely come down to combo, but here that bit of Ak comfort gives a bit more reasoning to why he would pick this. But so far, both players holding combo. It's really going to come down to who finds the break, assuming somebody does.
Yeah, you can sort of see, like, I guess the difference accuracy makes. One of the biggest diff spikes of the map here, I think. Both players getting through it, actually. 20k lead for Akins, still moving on. And you can see he's got about a 1% Ak lead, and that's accruing about 20k of a score advantage, so you can kind of get an idea of how this laser scoring is calculated a little bit better. But just still, both players, they're holding on to these FCs, and still the 1% Ak lead for Akins, but both of them are just absolutely tearing this map up with 30 seconds remaining. This is unbelievable. There's no way we're going to see a double FC on this. Oh, hitting these diff spikes, man. This is unbelievable from both of them. Just going crazy into this ending. Still the Ak lead, holding on for Akins. It's just 20k, and all of these maps have been so close. We're going to see a double FC. No, Tuna goes down. Oh, wow, that lost him about 45k there in terms of a difference at the ending. But wow, a near double FC is unbelievable from these players.
Yeah, I mean, Tuna breaking right at the end, but still did the brunt of the work of just keeping that lead close. Now going into his next pick, Hidden 2, hopefully for Tuna, he'll hope to find a better lead here, obviously. So far, he's, I think, lost all of the head-to-heads, including his first pick, but all by such a small margin that he can make it up any time. But obviously, fantastic FC from Akins. It's really funny seeing the PP counter on stream, because it's like, oh, yeah, it's just better than any play I've ever set. Cool. Nice.
Yeah, in 20. Yeah, they can just do that.
It's just funny seeing the point at which it overtakes. Overtakes the top player.
Yeah, I always feel like that when I watch like top plays, and like when I watch like some of the best PP players, you're like, oh, he beat my top player in like 10 seconds, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That
That's pretty crazy. But yeah, Hidden 2, now this was, I believe, a map that Akins had a lot more struggles with up against the match against Zudinator, and if you're Tuna, I think this is your best opportunity to make a differential. Tapping is one of the more polarizing skill sets in the game, but the other really polarizing skill set is reading. And this map is really tough to combo. It's very consistently challenging to aim, so Tuna pops off here. Get a big score lead.
Oh, and don't look at FlyingTuna's accrued score, actually. If I do open the OSU chat here, and I do see a bunch of when you see... Yeah, I do. Okay. Yeah, that's good. I mean, chat's on the ball at least. That's a good start. But yeah, I mean, Akins, he did have some struggles in this one yesterday against Zudi, like you said. He was finding considerable misses in this just throughout the map. There wasn't like a huge drop section where he just fumbled the bag. No, he was consistently finding struggles on this one, but we'll have to see if he can make the difference this time, if he can redeem himself on it. Was holding that combo lead, but does drop it there early on. And there's a double reset. It just seems like it's a type of map where it's not comfortable to really hold long combos whatsoever. Just the consistent difficulty of a linear aim map like this on low AR hidden really proves to be just difficult in a tourney. Who would have guessed? As both players just unable to even get anything over a 200 combo so far.
I feel like every single time I've seen this map being played in a tourney, it's just this what we're seeing, just constant misses, nobody holding a big combo. It's just such a tough map to hold on to. But Akins right now on the swirl, he does find a break right at the end there, but holding the ACK advantage, and especially on a map like this where combos are obviously very tough to keep, that ACK lead is going to make the difference. And remember, Tuna is already on the back foot. He needs to gain some score leads.
Yeah, so it's just like Akins actually there at the end of that other section. He didn't even decide to aim to that final note. He didn't even want to aim to it whatsoever.
It's like,
I mean, these are so... These anti-aim patterns are so brutal on the ARA. You can see, again, it's just a similar performance to yesterday from Akins here, and Tuna kind of in the same boat. It's only a 15k difference. Tuna looking like he might take it. At least you would hope that he can, so that he can bring this score differential in a little bit closer. Of course, we are in double elim now in the semifinals, so both players not at risk of elimination at the moment, and both will have a second chance, but still, you're wanting to stay in this winner bracket if you want your best chances of winning the tournament.
It's actually funny you mentioned the double Ilum. I believe Akins' first matchup was a super close, like almost loss, and that could have been a very unfortunate way to go, but looks like FlyingTuna at the ending here, on pace to come out with his first head-to-head win on a map, but maybe by not as big of a margin as he wanted it to be, as Akins is right behind.
It was actually a section there, one of the diff spike sections Tuna managed to hit. I think the only player so far in this map to hit one of the diff spikes, and that's managed to accrue him this victory here. He's about 50k in the lead, just off of the back of that one diff spike he managed to hit, and Akins unfortunately was unable to. 300 combo in building, I think the highest max combo we've seen so far.
Yeah.
And there it is. It ended up being, wow, he ended up closing the gap off that quite considerably. It's still 60k, but wow. Yeah.
I mean, that lead was like almost nothing. It was like a 10k lead, and by the end, just hitting the entire ending, which is super impressive on a map like this, because by the end of a difficult hidden 2, you're just brain fogged, generally. So really impressive to hold it together at the end, and a much needed win for Tuna. Now not too far behind, like 60k score lead behind. Going into Akins' last pick though, but not looking too bad for either player. Like, I mean, it's going to be very, very close, especially as we mentioned. I think you said Grin maybe Tuna favored, and I'd probably agree, since it's a very aim control focused map, but Akins also very solid on Hard Rock. So yeah, I mean, still anybody's game at this point.
And string theocracy with DT rate change of, I believe, 1.4x.
Yep.
This is probably the hardest map in the pool, I would say. I mean, when I was looking through the showcase, this one just looked like by far the hardest map. I don't know. For me, it was like either something like this or possibly something like Mad Piano Party. But yeah, this map is no joke on 1.4, and I believe it was originally pulled at 1.5, and the testers were like, and the pullers were like, no, this is way too hard. So now it's 1.4, and it's still probably the hardest map in the pool. So here we go. It's even just hard to follow when watching it. I'm gonna be honest.
You know, a map is hard to read when it's hard to read as a spectator. Like, you know, it's like if you're watching AR11, it looks easier than it is. Same thing, you're watching, you know, low AR, it looks easier than it is. I'm struggling to, like, those doubles are so fast, man. They come at you the speed of light, and I doubt we're gonna see either player really hold a big combo. And right now it's pretty much neck and neck here.
I mean, if there was someone to go off on a map like this, it definitely would be Tuna, I think. I can imagine Tuna just going crazy on something like this, just for no reason. In a tourney as well. We'll see, yeah, Akins finding an early drop. Just even like those space quads that Tuna managed to hit there. So hard to hold combo. And you see the accuracy tanking for it for both the players, but you can't really blame them. It's gonna be so hard to act at this approach rate with these consistent doubles and random swing patterns coming in. But Tuna is just looking really strong. 370 combo and building is no joke on a map like this, and only a minute remaining. How much can he build this up? He finally drops that combo at about 500. Akins making a recovery, but he goes down as well with the trade. It's only a 20k difference. But Tuna, he's gonna want to try and make up this 60k score advantage that Akins has managed to build up over the course of the match, and he's getting there. It's 30k so far.
This is Akins' pick. It's a Tuna map after this, so Tuna can get a win here. It's going to be very big for him. Does find a drop on that slider, and I mean, it's in this intro section. Akins is actually going to sneak up a little bit. Unfortunate break from Tuna there, but still wins out the pick by 13k, chomping on that lead that Akins held on from the beginning bit by bit. Now right behind. Yeah, I think I'd probably agree that's probably the hardest map. Keep in mind, like, a 650k in Lazer is probably the equivalent of a roughly 300k score in Score V2. So pretty tough there. Yeah,
I think interesting to see Akins pick that. I think I might kind of understand the strategy on it, but Tuna, I would actually on paper probably favor Tuna on something like that, just generally. But Akins, you know, there's obviously so many new strategies in this kind of format with score differential that it's like you can pick something like this and be like, yeah, maybe Tuna's favored on it, but I can keep up with him. You know, maybe he'll beat me by like less than 50k on it, or maybe I'll barely win. Being the end goal that, you know, the score differential might not change very much at the end of this, but it's better than my other options. And Akins may be confident he can accrue a big lead early on, especially with something like that DT3. And I mean, it sort of worked out for him so far. Maybe not as convincing as he would have hoped it could work out, but he is still leading here by about 50k. As we now get into Nelv, the No Mod 4, just crazy high velocity slider tech patterns and so many different elements of tech in this map. This one is also one of the tougher maps in the pool.
And maps like this are super interesting for a much higher AC focused scoring system. As you can see right now, FlyingTuna is crushing these slider ends. Absolutely eclipsing Akins on accuracy right now. Does drop a little bit of AC there, but I mean, maps like this reward you so much more on this new scoring system if you can actually play them well. Normally on Score V2, it's just focus on combo. That's all that really matters. Both of these players holding combo, but if both of them drop, Tuna is going to be so advantaged right now. There's Akins with the first break, and that is the opportunity that Tuna needs. Likely first climb. It hits the slider stream. 99%. This score is absurd right now.
That is huge from Tuna to get through one of the hardest patterns in the map right there on that space stream. And he's continuing to hold this FC with 99% accuracy. Just going crazy on this in the final 45 seconds of the map. Hits probably the hardest pattern of the map there. This is unreal stuff from Tuna. This is his chance to get his lead that he's been barely missing out on all match long. 120k and God. Leading, hitting all of these patterns, man. These patterns are disgusting. Continues to shred this map up. Oh, nah. This is going. Crazy. Yeah, this is an unreal performance from FlyingTuna on this No Mod 4. 15 seconds remaining. He did finally find the combo drop, but what a performance. 800k and climbing on this map is no damn joke.
I mean, yeah, this entire matchup, it was so close between these two players. Aknz holding the lead early on, but there we go. Tuna winning it out by almost 200k, which a 200k win on the scoring system is like a 500k win equivalent on Score V2. That was a phenomenal performance by Tuna. And now it's going to be really difficult for Aknz to take it back here on this last map, because he's going to basically have to do what Tuna just did again, but obviously in reverse, and on a map that Tuna's likely going to have a pretty good time on. I mean, I think it just takes one pop off in a matchup this close. You pop off one time on a map like Tuna just did, and you're secured.
I mean, it is only. It's about what? 143k, roughly around there. So that's something to keep an eye out for in the score difference here at the bottom when they're playing. Aknz is going to have to win this one by about 143k or more in order to come out as the victor in this match, as we are moving into the decider. This is the final map. Neither player picking or banning this, leaving this map floated, and now it is going to be the decider. And like I was saying, I think it's something I do very slightly favor Tuna on, but it doesn't mean Aknz can't have a pop-off on this. He can't go crazy. He can't win by 143k. It's not that much score. So far in terms of this match, it's pretty considerable, considering every map has just been like less than 50k difference, it feels like. But it's absolutely doable. You know, maybe I favor Tuna, but it's not by much. It's like 55-45, you know?
I mean, I do agree. I think this map, though, just in general, is going to be tough to get a big score on either way. I think it's going to be closer to something like String Theocracy, where both players get relatively lower scores. And if that happens, even if Aknz wins on the head-to-head, his nominal lead might not be high enough. So we'll see how it goes. Does find some act drops there. But both players so far looking pretty good on the aim control.
Yeah, accuracy is pretty even as well. Wondering if any of these faster bursts might catch someone like Tuna off guard, but no, I don't think so. I don't think these bursts anywhere near the level of speed that's gonna matter for someone like Tuna. But the accuracy is, yeah, just pretty much even across the board here. Both on the 96. Very slight advantage for Aknz. It's not really gonna matter in the grand scheme of things. Halfway through the map, and this is where it's really going to matter. Aknz is going to have to hold on to this combo at this point. I think if he wants to win this match, and Tuna is going to have to find that drop somewhere in the next, I'd say, quarter of the map. It's all on Aknz holding this combo, though. He cannot lose it if he wants to continue on in the winner's bracket into the final stage. The seed number 2 in this tournament, the only Australian remaining, but both players are continuing to hold up their combos, shredding this map, man. It's just, Aknz can't miss. Oh,
here it is! There's the drop! I could not believe both players were holding on that long into the map. But I think you're right. As you mentioned, Aknz needed to hold on to have a chance. But FlyingTuna, on insane momentum now, he would not do another bonkers score.
No, he wouldn't FC, right? I mean, the silver lining for Aknz here, I think, would be if he does, it maybe wouldn't have mattered. He finally misses, though. Unfortunately for aknzx, he is, I believe, going to be losing this matchup. FlyingTuna, what a performance on these final 2 maps. Just looking so close all match, and then Tuna just wakes up. Just swigs a Red Bull and goes crazy on the last 2 maps. What a performance.
Yeah, phenomenal performance from Tuna. I mean, with how fast the players ran for this map, so it'd be tough to find the time to swig a Red Bull. But there we go. Tuna on those last 2 maps, making up for a huge difference and taking what was originally super close matchup. Aknz holding the lead at the beginning. Tuna by the end winning out by, I think, like 300k. But both players played absolutely fantastic. Aknz with that double time 1 full combo, but Tuna on the ending there on the aim control, just too strong.
Yeah, I mean, just unbelievable performance there from Tuna on both of those last 2 maps. The No Mod 4 score was crazy, man. Like, yeah, the grid score is good, but holy crap, that No Mod 4 score, I think our map is definitely way harder. That was unreal stuff from Tuna. Actually, coming out on top of this matchup, both players, by the way, eclipsing 5 million total score is unreal in that. 5 million is no joke, and both players there actually eclipsing it. Tuna closing out the match very, very strongly, and actually on paper making the upset happen. Aknz, the number 2 seed, he does go down to the lower bracket now, but he is not eliminated from the tournament. This is our first round of lower brackets. We are getting double elim, so Tuna, he is going to be moving on, fortunately, in the winner's bracket for him into the final stage. Aknz moving on down to that to the finals lower bracket, where he will be facing up against it's going to be Tebby, I believe, in the lower bracket.
I believe so, and shout out to Tuna's total score, by the way, being 5445550. That is unreal satisfying. It's a beautiful score. But yeah, I mean, Aknz still in the tournament, obviously. I mean, the double elim came in clutch for him, but yeah, good luck to Aknz, and good luck to FlyingTuna in the finals.
Yeah, FlyingTuna going to be, of course, going up in that winners finals against Amamiya Kokoro, who's been looking phenomenal all tournament. But there it is. That's going to be the matchup for now. I believe, since this match was at such a strange time, I think for most people, wouldn't expect the next one to be anytime too soon, and yeah, it's not going to be. It is going to be aknzx playing again in about 4.5 hours time at 12 UTC, and it's going to be Tebby versus Aknz, and that one will be followed by the finals winners matchup at 13 UTC between Amamiya Kokoro and FlyingTuna. So tune back in about 4.5 hours, and yeah, be here for those really, really hype matchups. But that's going to be it from us for now for Osu Lazer Grand Arena. Thank you very much for tuning in. I've been Mavs, and thank you again, Vordy, for casting alongside me. That's going to do it for us, and we will see you guys later.